YouTube, it's your boy Sean. I'm gonna try here with Salamangreat to master video. So we hit master rank with Salad. I'm gonna show you the list. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about the new support. I'm also gonna link my old Salamangreat video for Master Duel here, and also if you enjoy Duel Links, I will link my Salad videos for Duel Links. Although one has to be updated because I haven't played Salad and Duel Links in a long time. But most of this stuff is pretty much the same, so don't even worry about it. Okay, anyway, onto the Master Duel video. So first things first, we're running 3 copies of the new Salad support, Salamangreat of Fire. So Fire on summon, whether it's normal or special summons, adds 1 level 4 or lower Salamangreat monster from Red deck to rare. And so basically, you can search out Gazelle. 99% of the time, you can play Jaguar, you can play Foxy, you can play Mirror. Also search a Spinny. So any of those, Weasel, always welcome to search. Now, the one thing I will say is you might see me not playing Jaguar, Spinny, Jaguar, Mirror, any of those, because most of the time, I feel like Jaguar and Mirror win more. Foxy could be good to play because it can out like Tikaboo and other floodgates. That could be useful. The thing is that most of the time, I feel like where the deck will struggle, and this is why I built it like this, and it's been doing really well since I built it like this, is going second because you have a limited amount of hand traps, and I feel like you have to be in this position where you go second, and you have to at least see 2 hand traps in this meta, because it takes at least 2 hand traps to control Snake Eye, and it takes at least 2 hand traps preferably to control most of the other decks in the meta, albeit like Tier Element, which is still around, like Tier Horus, which you really want like a hand trap for Kikalos ideally, and then probably another hand trap just to slow them down even further. Anyway, yeah, so you're playing that 3 Salamangreat of Fire, and that's why I don't run the Jaguar. But you can absolutely run Jaguar. You could absolutely play a more aggressive version and run Jaguar in this deck, but I just don't. But yeah, okay. Anyway, moving on. Next, we play 3 copies of Speedboy Terratop. Terratop is really, really good because this card is a 1-card starter into your Mirage Dahlia because Mirage is generic. So on summon, you're going to search Take Domborg, and you can make a 1-card essentially Mirage Dahlia without even having to normal summon, which is fantastic. Next, we run 3 copies of Gazelle. Gazelle, if you don't know what it does, basically, when a Salamangreat is sent to the graveyard, if a Salamangreat is sent to the graveyard, special summon it from your hand and then send any Salad from your deck to the graveyard card, including Roar and Rage. You could send them both to the graveyard if you would choose to, and will, whatever, even spells, traps. So, basically, what you want to dump, well, if you run Jaguar, you dump Jaguar. You can dump Jaguar. In Duel Links, that's very common. In Master Duel, you're going to dump Spinny most of the time. There are cases where you open up Spinny and end up dumping Jaguar, but Spinny is definitely the one of choice. And if not Spinny, and you have it already, you can dump other spells and traps, albeit Roar, Will, and Rage. But what's really, really good is dumping Spinny gives you combo, and then sets up for your big boards that I'm gonna teach you how to make. Next, we have Salamangreat Spinny. So if you don't know what Spinny does, basically, while in the graveyard, it can special summon itself for free. Also, if you control a Salamangreat card, you can discard this card from your hand and increase the attack of a monster by 500. Also, when it's summoned from the graveyard and it leaves the field, it gets banished. Keep in mind, if it's under an Exceed monster, it does not count as being left in the field. It counts as being sent as an Exceed material, meaning that your Spinny will not get banished. So if you attach it as an Exceed material to Mirage Dahlia, you use it to make Mirage, then you can detach it off Mirage and it will go to the graveyard, so keep that in mind. Next, we're playing 1 copy of Salamangreat Weasel. This card is absolutely fantastic. Basically, if you have 2 or more Salads in your grave, you special summon this card from your hand. Now, what makes this card really, really good, I feel, is its second effect. If a Salamangreat Ritual Fusion Synchro Link monster is special summon to your field while this card is in the graveyard, target one of those, special summon it to your opponent's field, but then shuffle this card in the deck and draw a card. Now, what's really good with this is it combos super duper well with Promethean Fire Princess. When I get up to Promethean, I'll tell you about it. But basically, you're going to get to summon Promethean for free off this, and this does really well going second for lethal damage. Next, you play one Code of the Soul. This card is absolutely fantastic. Now, some builds do run 3 of this card, which is really, really good as well. Like, some builds cut down the amount of fire that they play and play 3 Code of Soul with, like, Lady Debug, which is great. The only reason why I don't like to do that is because if you don't open up, like, a Gazelle or a Circle alongside the Debug, I feel it's worse because the way to get started, you essentially have to link off Debug into Phalanx, and then you're gonna have to relink it. But it's still fine because, like, I mean, well, I guess you're fine kind of either way. But no, because you'd have to search Code of Soul. It kind of requires you to open up 2 cards because the first time you'd be searching Code of Soul, and the second card you'd be looking for generally is your Circle or Gazelle. So that's why I don't prefer to play it that way, because I feel like if you play it that way, then you have to kind of open up 2 cards if you really want to do some of the better combos. Where in this case, well, not that you don't have to open up 2 cards, but your 1 card combos really shine in this mode. That's why I really like this version of the deck. But if you wanted to, you could totally play it that way. And if you want to do that, that's completely fine. But I like this a lot better. Okay, so anyway, moving on. Code of the Soul, what it does is that if you control Link Monster, you can special summon this card. And while this card is on the field, you can activate the effect. Basically allows you to reincarnation Link Summon. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to tell you once we get up to Sanctuary. But basically allows you to relink once per turn. And while it's in the graveyard during your opponent's main phase, you can banish it to allow you yourself to relink on your opponent's turn, which is really, really broken with Pyro Phoenix. And we will talk about that. Next, we're running 2 Signet Mining. This is just another starter. Discard just basically gets it started. There's nothing really to explain. And an extender as well. Sanctuary, you search this as a free card off Phalanx. If you link summon a Salamangreat monster, you can use 1 Salamangreat monster you control as the same name as the whole link material. So basically, this is what we call relinking or reincarnation link summoning. It's basically, let's say you make a Sunlight Wolf and you have Sanctuary or you use Code of the Soul. It allows you to slap a wolf on as a whole link 2 for a link 2 summon. So you could just slap a wolf over a wolf, and it counts as the whole material for the link summon. So you summon a wolf, and then you could treat it as a link 2 to summon another wolf. If you summon a Raging Phoenix, you could slap another Raging Phoenix over it and it's treated as the whole material. And the same goes for Pyro Phoenix or any of your Salamangreat link monsters, even your Phalanx. So that's called reincarnation link summoning. So you could do that with Code of the Soul on your opponent's turn as well as your turn. Now, what's really good with this is that the second effect never comes up. Basically, if your Salamangreat monster battles, or your I shouldn't say Salamangreat. If your monster battles, you could pay 1,000 life points to make the attack of one of your link monsters 0 and gain the life points equal to that attack. Again, this rarely if ever comes up. Even in Duel Links, like, this effect rarely if ever comes up, but it's there if you need it. Will of the Salamangreat, this card is fantastic. Basically, the second part of this effect is pretty much copies a banned card in the TCG Soul Charge, right? An OCG. I think Soul Charge is banned in the OCG, but whatever. Basically, during the main phase, you could special summon 1 Salamangreat from your hand or graveyard, but the second part of the effect is where this card is insane. You could send this card from your field to the graveyard to target 1 reincarnation link summon Salamangreat, or 1 that was just link summoned using the same name. So the reason why I say or is because, yes, this works perfectly if you relink it, which is what you're going to do the majority of the time. But sometimes you don't relink and you end up using 2. Your link 4 is a link 1, and then use link 2 and another monster in the field to just make the Raging Phoenix again, and then you could just activate Will anyway. It could also be activated on a reincarnated Sunlight Wolf or something like that. Or if you did the same thing, if you have a wolf and then another monster to make wolf again, then you could use Will again, and then Will, and then just use that effect again. But it allows you to send itself from the field to the graveyard to target a relink Salamangreat, then special summon Salamangreat monsters with different names from your graveyard up to the relink monster. Okay, now this card is absolutely ridiculous. Now, unfortunately, you cannot summon link monsters, okay, with this second effect. But what you can do is you could special summon like 3-4 Salamangreats on the field. 4 monsters, easy, because you go into a link 4. So you can easily spam out 4 monsters on the field, which is ridiculous. and it allows you to OTK going second very, very easily with this. So definitely play this. Going first, I generally don't search it. There are combos that allow you to search it going first, but most of the time I end up not searching it going first. I end up searching Roar or Rage, unless for some reason I really need an extender, but most of the time that's never going to be the case, and I'm going to teach you why with Promethean lines alongside your Weasel. Now, next we play 3 copies of Salamangreat Circle. This card is absolutely fantastic, as it allows us to do 2 things. A, we could search any Salamangreat monster from our deck to our hand as a quick effect Rhoda. But secondly, we could target one Salamangreat monster that's been link summoned using the monster with the same name or relinked. Basically, make that monster unaffected by all monster effects until the end of the turn. So it's a good way to protect yourself from disruption on your opponent's turn as well as your turn. If you don't want to get popped by something like Promethean Fire Princess, you can make your link unaffected by monster effects. Again, not the most common effect to come up. This effect more comes up in Duel Links, honestly, a lot. But in Master Duel, not so much. But the first effect, adding a Salamangreat for your deck to your hand, obviously comes up because it's a starter, right? And why wouldn't we play 3 of a Rhoda in the deck that we can play? You know, that's pretty blatantly obvious, I feel. Next, we play Salamangreat Rage. Now, this card is absolutely fantastic because this has 2 effects. A, it's a Raigeki break, send one Salamangreat monster from your hand to face the field to the graveyard, target 1 card in the field and destroy it. There's consent from the field as well, but the second effect is really, really good. Target 1 relinked Salamangreat and blow up monsters, blow up cards on your opponent's field up to its link rating. Now, what's really, really good about this is basically it's a pop your whole opponent's board, essentially. Pop for 4. So, if you want to go up a deck, you could search this immediately and basically have a board wipe, for lack of a better speaking, right? So, if you relink into your Pyro Phoenix, you have a board wipe. Now, there's 2 ways to have a board wipe in this deck, and you can essentially end on 2 board wipes the majority of the time. You can option for whatever matchup it is. So, if you're in a tournament, you can option select based on whatever matchup this is. But basically, this thing can be a whole board wipe, right? So, we relink it to our Pyro Phoenix. I'll show you the combo, and then you can Rage board wipe. Now, Salamangreat Roar, this card is really, really good. Salamangreat Roar basically is an Omni-Negate. So when a spell trap or a monster effect is activated while you control a Salamangreat link, does not need to be relinked, you can Omni-Negate, negate any card activation of any card and destroy it. Now, keep in mind, this negates the activation, not the effect. So if your opponent were to activate the effect of a card in the graveyard like Trivy Karma to banish and search Paralino, you cannot negate Trivy Karma. Because Trivy Karma is not the activation of a card, it's the activation of an effect. Okay, so you got to be very, very careful. If your opponent has, like, Scream on the field, and you don't want them to mill 3, and it's already on the field, this will not negate an activated Scream effect on the field, because this only negates the activation. So your opponent has to activate certain cards or effects. Or this will also not, again, negate the pop of Paralino or pop of Rysog, because those are effects on the field, not the activation. It only negates the activation of cards. So cards have to be at the time of activation. Or the activation of any monster effect. Not a continuous monster effect, obviously. But the activation of a monster effect. So keep that in mind, okay? So this will negate the activation of a monster effect, spell, or trap. While this card is in the graveyard, if you relink, now this is what's really, really good, you can set this card from your graveyard to your field. What's really good about this is this thing can set itself for free. So if you are able to open up multiple starters, which is totally plausible, then you are able to send this off your Gazelle, and then you can set this when you make your Pyro Phoenix to have a free Omni again in your turn. But banish it when it leaves the field. Now, the banish it when it leaves the field is irrelevant because most of the time, if you're making your turn 1 board, you're pretty much winning that turn anyway. So the fact that it gets banished is completely irrelevant because you're not playing for the long grind game here. You're playing to shut your opponent down really, really quick and efficiently. Okay, now for the hand traps, we are playing 3 Veiler, 3 Maxi. I really like Veiler in this meta because Veiler is really good against Kiklos. It's also good against Snake Eye to negate Flamebridge. It's also good to negate Ash if they don't have Link Karibo, of course. But, you know, it negates a lot of things. Even if you have multiple, like, Ash or Imperms, you can even negate the Abel Star if you wanted to. So, there's that. So, next we play 3 Maxi. We also play 3 Ash Blossom because, you know, Ash needs to be stopping Maxi, so you kind of want to play 3 of it. 3 Maxi. Also, it's great against Snake Eye, negating a bunch of things. 3 Maxi. On top of that, we're playing 2 Nibiru, which could be good against Snake Eye. 3 Infirm, also really good in the mirror. If people are playing the mirror, Nibiru is fantastic. It's the hard counter to the mirror. And then you're running 3 Impermanence as well on top of it. Okay, now, on to the extra deck. 1 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Horse Prince. Now, this card was played back in Fire Fist format, if you don't remember 3-Axis Fire Fist. Way back when, I don't know if you guys played back then. But basically, this is a Fire tuner plus a non-tuner monster. Now, the key thing is this can summon any Fire monster out of the deck. So the majority of the time, you're going to grab your Coat of Soul. However, there are combos which you could search your Ash Blossom. So you are able to search Ash Blossom with this combo because you can summon Ash off of it. And then add it back off your Sunlight Wolf ad. And then you search Ash Blossom. Which can be very good to have if you have every combo piece in your hand. And you want to search even more Disruption, you are good to do that. So either way, this is an extender to make your, to get your Card of the Soul generally. But it is also very good to search Ash. Now you may ask me how you're making it. Well, your Weasel is a tuner. So keep that in mind. Weasel is a tuner, which allows you to access your Horse Prince. Next, we play 1 Salamangreat. Where is my glossy one? I never did my glossy one here. 1 copy of Salamangreat Mirage Stalio. So Mirage Stalio is a rank 3 exceed. It is generic, which is great because we can use Terratop and Dr. Tomborg with it, along with any of our Ash, Ghost Mourner. So let's say we open up like a, well, not that you would anyway, but like, I guess if they Ash your Terratop, you can normal summon an Ash and make it, but not really going to happen often, but it's possible. So you detach 1 material, special summon 1 Salamangreat monster from your deck of defense, but it cannot activate monster effects for the rest of the turn except for fire monsters, which gets your fire and then makes for a starter. So you summon out your Salamangreat of Fire, and then you link off into your Phalanx, search the Gazelle, and send the Spinny, and go on and on. But meanwhile, this allows you to make this as a starter, but it's also really good because it's main starter line for Gazelle Spinny. And also when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, when it exceeds summon monster is sent from the field to the graveyard. Keep that in mind. It has to be exceed summon to be sent from the field to the graveyard to trigger this effect. Not summoned off will. Okay? Must be an exceed summon monster sent from the field to the graveyard. Then you can target 1 monster on the field and return it to the hand, including your own monster. So if you send this after you resolve will, and you special summon back to fire, you can bounce your own fire back to your hand as well as bounce an opponent's monster if you wanted to. So you can bounce your opponent's monster or bounce your own monster. Maybe you summon something back you don't need, and you want to get follow-up for the next turn. That is an option. Next, we run 2 Phalanx. Basically, like 1 searches your Sanctuary while in the graveyard once per turn. If your monster would be destroyed, it is not. You banish it to protect it from destruction. Sunlight Wolf has 2 different effects, 1 when it's relinked and 1 when it's on the field. And this is very common for salads in general. So basically, Sunlight Wolf, 1 relinked, adds a Salamangreat spell trap from your graveyard to your hand. But while on the field, can also take benefit and allowing you to add a Salamangreat from your graveyard to your hand. So you can add back, when a monster is summoned to its own, you can add a fire monster back to its hand. So, any of its own. Now, careful where you place this. I'm going to tell you why in a second. With Weasel, you don't really want to give this to your opponent. I'm going to tell you why in a second. But, with Weasel, you can also use it to trigger Sunlight Wolf's effect. If you don't want to trigger it with your own Salamangreat, you can use Weasel to summon it to Wolf's Own, their monster to Wolf's Own, and trigger your own Sunlight Wolf. So, keep that in mind. But, so basically, you put this in the EMZ, then use Weasel to give your opponent a monster, point it to Sunlight Wolf, and then voila. But most of the time, you're not going to do that. You're going to be triggering it with your own Salamangreats. Okay? So that's basically Sunlight Wolf. So again, if a monster is summoned to its own, you can add a fire monster for your graveyard to your hand, aka Ash or follow-up. But second part of the effect, oh, also keep in mind, the monster you add back cannot be normal summoned or set that turn. However, the Ash Blossom that you add back can be used because that's not being normal summoned or set. And the spell or trap you add back, you can completely use that turn if you wanted to. And that's the relinked effect. You just add back a solid spell or trap. Next, we play 1 Hida. This card's just fantastic. Being able to revive a fire, and once she's destroyed, you can search pretty much any one of your Salamangreats to your hand. Fire or Gazelle for follow. Next, Sprite Sprint can send this to the grave. It's also could use EMP Mew Swine. Send that as well. ISP Little Knight is really good. Just as a generic way to out things. It's also good if you get Max Seed to end on this. Maybe with some sort of like hand traps and disruption. Promethean Fire Princess is the most broken Link monster ever. Basically, it locks you into fire monsters, but you don't care because that's pretty much all you're making. During your main phase, you can special summon a fire monster from your graveyard, so this is part of your main combo. Also, during your opponent's turn, if you also when your opponent special summons a monster and you would control a fire monster, you could summon this from the graveyard and then pop one of their monsters. Great interruption on your opponent's turn as well, really disgusting. But there's also a combo where you're going to resummon this on your turn, and I'm going to teach you the main combo line. And you're going to abuse this with your Weasel, because when you summon the monster to their field, you could trigger Promethean yourself, pop their monster, and then extend into your Pyro Phoenix. So this card, again, has three effects. The first two almost never come up, but they can come up for burn damage. If it was Link summoned using Pyro Phoenix as a material, you could destroy all cards your opponent controls. However, that's the relinked effect, so meaning that if you relink it with, say, Code of Soul on your opponent's turn, you can Black Rose their field, essentially, which is crazy. Then, second effect, you could target one Link monster to your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to their field. If a Link monster special summon to your opponent's field, you can destroy it. I mean, not destroy it. You can target one of those monsters and burn your opponent for that damage equal to its original attack. So if you special summon a monster from your graveyard, say, give them a Raging Phoenix from your graveyard, you can burn them for 28. Again, this doesn't come up much, but it's there in case you need to get lethal damage. Next, but mainly know this is a board wipe in your opponent's turn when relinked. Basically, with Code of Soul, you relink this and you board wipe them. That's what you mostly need to know. Next, the new boss monster, Salamangreat Raging Phoenix. You can play 2 or 3 of this. It does not matter. But this card is really, really good because what does Raging Phoenix do for us? Well, when it's Link summoned, you could search any using Raging Phoenix as material. So it's relinked. You can add any Salamangreat card from your deck to your hand. So this could search out any of your traps, spells, monsters. But what's really good also is its second effect. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, or if any face of fire monster is destroyed and sent to the graveyard while this card's on the field, you can reborn it, and then it will gain attack equal to that monster's attack. So if they destroy your Raging Phoenix, or you destroy it, you can reborn it and gain that monster's attack. Now, this also brings up one more thing I wanted to bring up. The second effect of Salamangreat of Fire. Basically, while this card's in the graveyard, you can banish it during the battle step, and then destroy a monster you control that battled. Now, what's really good is you could destroy your Raging Phoenix, bring it back, and then bring it back with 5600 to OTK. So really, really good. Okay, that's enough of the deck profile. Let's get on to the combo video. Now, I'm going to teach you combos. We're going to go only over a few replays because I don't want this video to be an hour long. I'm looking for 35, 40 minutes. That's what I'm looking to do. So, with that being said, let us go into... Not here. Not here. Get me out of here. Okay. Go over here. Okay. Here we go. Hajime. That's not a combo. Okay, here we go. Alright. Now, this is going to be your... We're going to start with the 1-card combo. Actually, no, I'll teach you the 2-card combo because this is what we have here. We did open Weasel. Now, we're going to pretend we didn't open it. So, we're going to special Terratop. Terratop with Circle. So, keep this in mind. This is Terratop Circle. We're going to search Take Tomborg. We're going to special summon. If that game would let me click. And then we're going to go ahead and make Mirage Stalio. Off the Mirage, we're going to trigger the effect. Detach the Taki Tomborg. Special summoning out your fire. Searching your Gazelle. Now, in this case, we do not need to send Spinny because we already have access to Circle in hand. And we've already made our Mirage Stalio. So there's no need to send Spinny here. This is very important because we're going to be able to dump Roar. And this will come up later. Next, we would use Circle here. And Circle would get us our Weasel. So, I'm just going to set this. Make it, pretend we use this. Okay? I want you to pretend we use this. Alright? So, we searched our Weasel. Circle is also a hard one to return. So, if you asking why I did not use the second Circle, that's why. Okay? Now, next, we're going to go ahead and activate our Weasel in hand. Special summoning itself. You can choose to add back our Salamangreat of Fire if we want to at this point. And then we are going to go ahead and link 3 into our Promethean Fire Princess. That's why I said a lot of the time you can trigger your wolf with your own effect. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to revive back Gazelle. And then from here, we can go ahead and make our Horse Prince. Triggering our Horse Prince effect to summon out our copy of Code of the Soul. Can activate the effect. And then we can then make another Phalanx. Now, there's a reason why you want to make another Phalanx here. I'm going to show you why in a second. And then we are going to not trigger Weasel yet. We're going to link 4 into our copy of Raging Phoenix. Next, we're going to activate Weasel from the graveyard. And then we can target. Do not target Sunlight Wolf. The reason why is if you summon to Sunlight Wolf's zone on your opponent's field, they can add back an Ash or whatever, and you don't want to do that. So target Mirage Stalio is probably your safest bet. And we're going to blow it up. We also get to draw a card. Then we're going to target our Raging Phoenix and his Mirage, which we will protect with the Phalanx. Next, we're going to go ahead and activate Sank. And then from here, we're going to link again, relink again into our Raging Phoenix. So the reincarnation link summon I was teaching you about. Now we can go chain block the Phoenix if he has an Ash Jet, which he probably has, but that's beside the point. If they hold it, we can chain block, set the Roar from the graveyard, activate the Raging Phoenix to search Rage. And then set this, but we're not done. Next, we are going to make a link 4 using our Horse Prince and our Promethean to summon Pyro Phoenix. So what do we end on? Just those 2 cards alone. Not paying attention to the circle we opened. This is a 2-card combo without the Weasel. Remember, we set the circle, pretended we activated it. So, 2-card combo, Terratop plus Circle, Terratop plus Fire. That works as well. Terratop Gazelle. That can work as well. But what did we end on? We ended on Raging Phoenix plus Pyro Phoenix plus Code of Soul in the graveyard. So this is a complete board wipe. This makes Pyro Phoenix, once you relink it during your opponent's main phase, it allows you to board wipe. So that's a board wipe there. We have another board wipe because we were able to search Rage. So we can board 2 board wipes. And we have an Omni Negate and Roar. And we have in graveyard Promethean Fire Princess, which we can also summon during our opponent's turn. Pop, say, one of our fires to pop one of their monsters. Now, this field is great. Now, we also do have a Ghost Mourner and Moonlit in hand So technically we do have, with the specific hand, a 5th disruption in play. But, you know, that's not something to necessarily be counted on. But we do have access to potentially a 5th disruption in play. So we have 5 disruptions right now. But the nice thing about Roar 2 is Roar can negate evenly matched. So if your opponent wants to say, go battle phase, go evenly matched, or activate a triple tactics thrust to search evenly matched on their turn, then you have an Omni negate to deal with that, which is really, really useful. Okay. Excuse me. So I'm going to retry. That's our 2-card combo. Now that can be done with Terratop. It can also be done with a ton of Salad extenders as well if you play it. But it can be done with Terratop plus any really one of your starters for real. Okay. So this is, I'm not going to show off Terratop here. I'm going to show off a 1-card combo. This is just going to be, we're going to pretend we don't have Gazelle in the hand. I'm just going to show off a 1-card combo here. To be even more stern about it, I'm going to discard Code of the Soul. Actually, no, I'm not. Well, yeah. In this case, we'll just pretend this is not in the graveyard. And this is just a 1-card combo with fire. Now, I want you to pretend we don't even have Gazelle in the hand. So we're going to use Salamangreat Fire to search a Gazelle. This is a 1-card combo. I'm going to use Baelanx to special summon the Bael. Gazelle, I mean, not the Baelanx. Not Bael to summon Bael. I'm going to search your Sanctuary. Now, what's great about these 2-card combos is you have plays. If you get Ashed, it's very easy to play around Ash Blossom. Now, next, we're going to dump our Spinny. We're going to use Spinny's effect. Special summon it. And then we're going to make our Mirage Stalio. Off the effect of Mirage, we're going to go ahead and this time summon Fire. Now, again, some people like to play the 1 Fire. I didn't mean to summon Fire there. I meant to summon, no, it's fine. You would get an extra draw if you did the other thing. I wanted to summon Weasel so we get the extra draw, but that's okay. It doesn't really make too much of a difference. But don't summon Fire there, summon the Weasel. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to link 3. I don't want you to, if you drew Code of the Soul for real, it does make a difference because then you can end on an extra disruption, but we're not going, we're pretending we didn't draw Code of the Soul. But if you did, make sure always, even if you didn't, summon the Weasel there. If you play Jag, you could technically summon Jag there too if you have like lack follow-up, but we're aiming to summon the Weasel there most of the time. Alright, so with the 1-card combo, we're going to go into Raging Phoenix. And then we're going to search a board wipe. It's just a standard 1-card combo for the deck. Or you could search it on the Omni or board wipe here. I like to search the board wipe. Okay. So 1-card combo ends with Promethean in the graveyard. Alongside your full board wipe off a 1-card combo. So basically a board wipe and a Promethean in the graveyard off 1 card. However, you may say, oh, that seems kind of minuscule. Well, generally most of the time when you do this combo, you're not going to do it with our hand because we have 100 extenders in the hand. So you're doing like the 2-card combos majority of the time that end you on like 4 or 5 disruptions. But again, like I said, with the 1-card combos, you're generally going to do this with a bunch of hand traps in the hand. So generally at that point, with your 15 hand traps, you're going to end on additional at least 3 to 4 copies of disruptions when you're doing that. So again, the 1-card combo generally ends on like 3 or 4 disruptions because you're going to do this with hand traps anyway. Or open up like Roar or Rage alongside this and then have like 3 or 4 disruptions regardless. So again, just showing you the 1-card combo so that way you know what's going on. Okay. So again, I'm going to show you one more combo. And this one's going to kind of involve with Ash. Maybe I'll save the replays for the next stream. Maybe I'll save the replays for the stream. Because I don't want this video to go too long and then you guys don't watch it. Okay. We're going to do a 3-card combo now. So let's say you open up Terratop with Gazelle and another extender. We're going to go full out here. We're going to go Terratop. Search the Take Tomborg. We're going to special summon itself. Then we are going to go ahead and actually, could do this. I'm going to go circle. We are going to go ahead and search Spinny. To this, we can normal summon the Spinny. There's a reason why I'm doing it this way. Link it to the Phalanx. There's also another way to option this combo as well. Summon the Gazelle. Dump the Roar here. Then we can go ahead and do quite a few things. Like maybe make an SP Little Knight. Then, now again, we're not banishing any cards, so there's no need to make it with a Link monster. We can make Mirage. Now, it's very important we do this because we want to do this before we're fire locked. Right? Because once we get summoned Salamangreat of Fire, I don't know if I told you this or I didn't, it fire locks you immediately. So that's why we didn't search Fire first. Then we can go ahead and search Weasel off the Fire. And now it's time to extend our combo. You can go in the Wolf. Now we can special summon Weasel. Make our Link 3. Could have added back there if we wanted to. No need. But we can. We can add back there if we want to. So, you could summon Weasel to Wolf Zone. That would be better. Now, the cool thing here is if you open up Code of the Soul already, then you could search Ash Blossom, essentially, with this combo, but you don't have to. Well, I almost summoned it. We're going to go Code of the Soul. And then we can do that. And now we can make our Pyro Phoenix. Now we're going to activate our Weasel. Return. Special summon. Draw a card. Also, huge shoutouts to my boy Saku for teaching me these combos. Thank you. Now we can use Phalanx. Pop it. Now keep in mind, with the 3-card combo, we already have Rage and Roar in Graveyard. So keep this in mind. Remember the first combo I taught you? Okay. We're going to go back to doing that. Search Rage. Then we're going to go ahead and hello Link 4. Okay, so what do we end on here? Well, we have Promethean Engrave for a pop. We have 2 board wipes in our Rage and our Pyro Phoenix, since we have Code of Soul Engrave. We have an SP Little Knight banish on our opponent's turn, so we can disrupt them there. We also have Salamangreat Roar, so immediately this gets us in a 3-card combo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 disruptions off a 3-card combo, alongside us having 2 hand traps. So technically with this specific hand we'd have 7 disruptions, but we have 5 immediately off that combo. So this is a really, really good board, obviously, that we were able to make. Yeah, crazy boards. Okay, so that's going to be the video. I wanted to show off replays in here, but we're already at 40 minutes, and I fear you guys aren't going to watch it if I show replays off. So we're going to keep it here for now, and I'll show you guys some replays. I'm planning some Master Duel streams this month, so make sure you get to that, and we will try to get this up to Master 1. Okay, until next time, guys, peace, enjoy your day, and make sure you follow me on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on Twitch. Appreciate you guys. Love you all. Bye, YouTube.